Who Back When?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode B038 of Who Back When? A Doctor Who podcast.
Nice. I think if I filibuster long enough, then we can just carry on and ignore that ever happened.
This is a momentous occasion because for the first time in a very long time, ever since Blink, I think, we are all assembled in the same room.
Oh, hang on. Now people think Rory are here.
No, yeah, that's
sorry, all you Rory fans.
Okay, here we go. To my right is...
Marie.
Hello, Marie.
Hi.
Next to Marie is...
I've already butted in. It's me, Drew Backman.
No, next to you is...
Nicolele, how you doing?
And I'm Podgan. And today we are doing a bonus episode. We are going through the mailbag yet again. It's Mailbag Part 2. Where we
the
read
refilling.
Oh God! It was the facial expression that did for it.
Better than the tagline for Part 1, which was rifling through our sacks.
Oh.
So yes, that's right. This is the episode in which we go through the mailbag and we read some of the emails that people have sent in.
Maybe your emails, Podcast Land.
Have you sent something in? Very possibly we'll be reading it out today. If we don't, then I apologize. How are we going to do this? Are we doing this chronologically?
Yes, and we're following your lead. So lead.
Okay, number 1, out of the gates, this comes from J.S. Tamble. JST, signed JST. I believe we heard from JST in Mailbag 1.
A couple of times.
A couple of times? A couple of times?
Yeah, he's always tinkering around the edges. He was like, hi, I'm going to do a thing, and like, hi, I'm back doing this thing. You guys are still here, great.
Verbatim.
So definitely check back and have a listen to our Mailbag 1.
Continuity.
Okay, so this one has the subject line ranking version 2.
So he's
V2.
a tinkerer.
Yeah, exactly. So this is the guy... I
think you may have said fuck this guy once.
Did I say that?
That may have happened.
If it's the same ranking thing that I remember from Part 1, I feel like there were 2 different rankings in Part 1, in Mailbag 1. Am I right? Am I misremembering?
Now you're stretching my memory.
Maybe I'm misremembering.
I'm sure you said fuck another guy.
Okay. If it's the one that I'm thinking of, then I may have said it about this chap. If not, then maybe he's the nicest guy ever and we're both misremembering. And hi, JST, I'm really sorry for having said all this shit. Let's read this out. JST goes, hey, who back when?
Good start.
Thanks for reading my email on your podcast. You're welcome. Who Back When is by far my favourite Doctor Who / science fiction / nerdcore podcasts.
We're nerdcore.
Nerdcore?
That's high
What
praise.
is nerdcore?
I don't know, but I'm taking it as a compliment.
Yeah, so am I. I don't listen to Radio Free Scaro or Crinoid or any of the other big ones as much since I found your podcast because I love your unique, fun take on the show.
You should, they're really good.
Why, thank you very much.
He's saying our big ones are enough for him, Nick. Come on. I'll read the next paragraph. JSC continues, I didn't mean to upset you by ranking you.
That's usually people's response, though. When you, like, just walk into a room and go, 1, 3, 7. Usually people love you, man.
But come on, it's only natural, defends JSC. You love all the Doctors, don't you? But you still have your favourites.
They're fictional. Carry on.
Yeah, they don't have feelings. I've thought about it some more, and here is my new definitive list. For now, winky face.
Oh. It's the definitive list.
So, number 1, with a bullet, the Druid.
I'm all about reconciling with JSC.
Congratulations, Drew.
Pro. He's the flapjack of New Who.
Oh.
Fun and intelligent in many ways, the best part of Who Back When. Great at being fun and clever, and always measured. He makes me think of Eddie Izzard. Con,
ironically, one of the few people I can't do an impression of.
Con should be on Classic Who too. Just
couldn't agree
out
more.
There, Drew.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick's suddenly very interested.
Can I just say, I'm really sorry to spoil the rest of the ranking or the next ranking thing, but I'm next. And I can't help but notice that I have way more text associated with my name than...
I mean, you're on more of it, to be fair.
else.
I don't know. I feel like I've got a sizable
I also
chunk.
see Con 1 and Con 2.
Oh.
I got 2 cons. Don't worry
This is why I said we shouldn't read this. I swear this is the reason why.
I think this is the best email so far.
This guy.
True.
Look, my con was essentially a pro in disguise. Maybe yours will be.
Yeah, I have
Absolutely
a sneaky suspicion on that. No. Okay. All right. So here we go. All right. Who wants to read me?
Marie.
I can read you.
Oh, here we
Okay, coming in at number 2, is Pumpkin.
Hooray.
Hooray. Pros. Witty, vulgar, and very funny. A true Whovian hero I could listen to forever. I said before he created Who Back When, so really he should be on top. But another of his strengths is he found some great companions, like the Druid, who's even better. Did you write this, Drew?
I just want to point out, my pro is a pro for you, Drew.
Your pro is that you're the best casting director around. It's fine.
You have great friends.
I'm not bitter at all, but I do remember this very well.
I need to read the first con.
That is the end of the pros, though. The pro is you brought Drew into my life, basically.
It's just the end of the pro.
Okay, so
and then number 3 is your parents. Okay, con 1. I thought before he wasn't enjoying the new Who reviews as much. Then I thought it was because of Nick.
Damn Nick.
Because those new reviews can be a little shy. Totes Below having a fun on their classic reviews together, so I don't know. Lighten up, man. Stop taking stuff so seriously, Pumpkin. Lighten up.
Oh. You know, that leads directly into con 2.
Oh, great. Yeah, let's hear it.
JST continues, stop talking about how much work you put into the podcast. And to defend Leon, I think you do less of that than you used to.
Less work? Yeah, totally.
No, I mean, I think possibly even prompted by JST last time. I think that sort of chat has pretty much died away. So this con is essentially, expired.
Possibly. I don't know. I'm biased. Anyway.
and in the spirit of that, maybe we should just gloss over the rest of that con.
Absolutely
and move
not.
to number 3.
All right, yeah, let's hear it.
Oh, wait, takes up too much of your time. I'm putting a sassy accent.
Okay, yeah, let's hear it.
There are millions of podcasts out there, and they're all being produced. Those are
In quotation marks.
And they all take lots of time, so quit complaining. And if editing takes so much time, maybe you're not doing it right. Ooh.
Oh, okay.
Maybe you should hire a professional, or maybe don't edit and just upload. We'll still love the show if you did. Hit me with a
Wait,
sentimental sacrifice.
Yeah, this is an emotional roller coaster. I'm not sure I can take this, JST. It's like, you're really shit, but I mean, I love you despite that. Okay, yeah, all right. Thanks, JST. Next up, Flapjack, number 3. Pro. More of an honourable mention here since he's...
At 3?
Yeah.
That's totally not how honourable mentions work.
Yeah.
More of an honourable mention here since he's no longer on Who Back When.
Except on Class.
But when he was on the show, he was the reason I listened. Con, no cons. JST, can I just take this moment one more time to say, go fuck yourself? I'm only kidding. Next up, who wants to do number 4?
Oh, JD, you leave JD alone. He's a treasure. He's a national treasure.
I'll take JD.
Okay.
Go for it.
JD Pro, most knowledgeable Whovian I've ever heard speak.
Agreed.
Because I don't listen to Radio Free Skaro. I didn't know they made them like that anymore. Con 1, more please. So again, not a con. Con 2, not very funny. Complete con.
Oh, bit harsh.
I think JD's perfectly funny, but he's just got that much trivia on the tip of his tongue that he needs to get off first before he can deliver a punchline. So JD is totes malotes funny.
Yeah. Totes. Okay, next up.
Well, I'm definitely going to do the pro because that's like 5 words.
Okay. Number 5 is
Nick. Spelled incorrectly.
I think he's just talking about a different Nick.
Yeah, that other Nick that hangs out sometimes.
Well, that guy's a dickhead. I've never talked to
It's the worst.
Oh, you get 2 cons as well. Okay, go for the pro. Go for the pro.
Witty and fun, clever and well-spoken. Who wants to take con 1?
I'll do it.
Okay.
Con 1. I think he knows more difficult words and how to fit them in. You don't impress me.
Much.
Don't you start. You will get Rory down here. That's how you summon him. But yeah, you stare into my soul. Fair enough.
Nick, you wouldn't care to issue a rebuttal countering this diatribe?
No.
I'll do con 2.
I feel convalescent about it. Yes. Somebody hit me with con 2.
Okay, con 2. You belongs on Classic Who.
You belongs on Classic Who, you dudes.
Okay, so we know that belong for JST is in the class of difficult words. Anything longer than belong.
You leave him alone. Go on, Marie. He's got things he wants to get off his chest.
Yeah, he's getting them off. Not New Who. Reviewing New Who requires tact and a kind of cleverness that I think only the Druid has.
Like I just displayed 5 seconds ago.
You are the chosen one.
He literally chose me as one.
It is far too difficult a proposition for anyone else.
Oh, God. Okay, episodes with Nick and another companion are less great because he acts like we listen to Who Back When to listen to him.
That's the only reason I listen.
Yeah, me too. Of the new companions, you're my least favourite. Maybe if you're
not at the bottom of the list.
Yeah, no, there's still 2 more.
This guy's not great at
I don't know what this says about me.
Yeah,
hey, this is my moment.
Okay, sorry.
Maybe if you're Pumpkin's only companion, that'd be fine. It works on the classic Who episodes.
So
Just
like
can't share the
95%
limelight.
of the episodes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Rawmeister is next up at 6. Pro, fun guy, really redeemed himself on Blink and the Voyage of the Damned.
What had he done?
How did he need to redeem himself? Yeah.
That's what he did. Con, not enough of him around to form an opinion.
Okay. And
how does this fucking work exactly? So 7 is...
Wait, number 7. Yeah, sorry, go for it.
Oh, is Marie.
Hey! I'm on the list.
Made the cut.
Right at the bottom.
So Pro, finally a female point of view. Con, are you a companion?
Well, he's described the rest of us as companions to Ponkin. It's not like Marie is female. That's why she's.
This is December.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This
wherever.
This is an old email. So yeah, exactly.
So what we're saying is, JST, we're in need of an update now that Marie's a regular cast member. Send in version 3.
Version 3, please.
Am I above Nick? That's what I want to know.
If you're not, you're going to have to take a look at yourself.
I know. Long hard stare in that mirror.
He's in for a world of hurt for the next 6 months because I use loads of words I don't know the meaning of.
Hang on, do we know that it's a he?
Oh, no.
Oh, that's very true. Look at us all being casually sexist.
Yeah, it's real. Though he was overtly sexist. He put the bottom.
Female point of view.
That was your only pro.
I know. You are a woman. I tried really hard at that.
Maybe we should take this opportunity to tell Podcast Land that despite the fact that we started with this email and maybe I certainly dropped a couple of F-bombs just a while ago, we don't normally do that.
I like him. I don't know what you're talking about. I think he is that nail on the head. I like constructive feedback. Even ad hominem attacks, those are fine too.
You know what? I really like constructive feedback as well. I'd really like to see some.
Plus, if you could write in and tell me what ad hominem means, that'd be great.
Okay, next up, let's move on. This one comes from Robert Lukins, who I remember you chatted with a little bit on I was going to say iTunes, on Twitter, I think.
Very possibly.
Right.
Did you really?
Yeah,
what a
Sure, Robert
coincidence.
Lukins
This is one I haven't read yet.
Should we do a paragraph each? Who wants to start this one off? All right. Okay, I'm starting this one off. The podcast power of pointing at people. All right, subject line, Australian thanks. This is an Australian fan.
Hey.
Woohoo. Hello, Robert. Robert says, hello there to the Who Back When team. Just wanting to say a quick hello and thanks from miserable Melbourne. Until January this year, I had never seen an entire episode of Doctor Who in my life. Gasp. Growing up, I was vaguely aware of Tom Baker and a metal dog playing on Channel 2, also known as the ABC, our equivalent of the BBC, but never latched onto it. Since then, Doctor Who has always just bubbled around my life, never quite popping its way through. I began to suspect that I would quite like the show, but the 50 years worth of episodes seemed just too daunting a task.
Robert continues, then I stumbled across Who Back When. Good golly. Here is my answer. So, I'm now getting myself all juiced up on Who. I started watching the show from the reboot Doctor 9 while listening to all the classic Who podcasts in order to get me through the early years. And you know what? I intend to never watch a single one of the pre-Baker Who's.
Oh, wow.
I don't...
Oh, wow, that was not...
Whoa.
I did not see that coming.
Wait, there's more.
Because I don't need to. I've got Who Back When. Hey.
There's something strangely satisfying about having these episodes exist only in description. It's like missing an episode and having your friend at school tell you all about it the next day. I'm up to the Daleks' master plan on the podcasts.
Ooh.
And when I've delved deeply enough into the Eccleston/Tennant years, I'll start listening to the new Who's.
Anyway, doesn't matter. Let's stick a pin in that.
Oh, yes.
That's triple points. Just wanted to say thank you for all your hard work and let you know that you're making one little Australian Who newbie very happy. Stay happy and flappy, Bertie Lukins.
Bertie, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Another review. Thanks,
That's
Bertie.
lovely. And also, if you made it through the Daleks Master Plan review, then well done.
Maybe that's why he doesn't want to watch any of the old ones.
Oh, yeah, maybe. That's fantastic. Thank you so much. Is Bertie our first official Australian fan?
Certainly the first to write in.
I think so.
We've always had a couple on the stats, I think.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah. Oh, awesome. Okay. Oh, see, now I'm regaining all the energy that was sucked out of me by the last one. Moving on, let's do another one. This one comes from Thomas Meehan. Hello, Thomas.
Thomas writes, "Hello, I'm Thomas and I'm a listener of your podcast. I love it. Every time an episode is released, I'm always gleaming with joy."
Awesome! Nice, like a topophone.
You make Thomas sound so sweet.
I make them all sound sweet, Marie.
I especially love the second Doctor episode reviews. I'm from England and I'm a massive Whovian.
Ooh.
Hey!
I can't wait for you to reach up to the movie with Paul McGann as the 8th Doctor. Oh my goodness. I am super excited about that as well.
I've seen that said by more than one person.
Yeah, a lot of people
And
really
do you know what?
request that.
Essentially, that's the last episode we'll ever do. So what they're essentially saying is, I can't
say
wait
that.
till you're over.
Don't say that.
Till you're finished and there's no more Who Back When.
You need to buck up. That was one email. I'd love for you to do a bonus stroke special episodes based on the spin-offs, Torchwood, The Sarah Jane Adventures, and Class.
Ooh. We've done Class.
We have.
Yeah. This was
We've knocked off the easiest of the three.
I'd like to do Torchwood, but I wonder if we've got enough hours in the day.
Thomas concludes, keep up the amazing work. I can't wait for more. Thomas, we're doing that right now as we speak and you listen.
Oh my god, yeah, and you're part of it.
Hey!
Agreed regarding the spin-offs. We have to do them. We said originally that we were going to do them in chronological order, so like have one bonus episode about Torchwood when Torchwood started. We've already missed that, I think. And I think we've probably also missed the Sarah Jane Adventures, as in terms of chronological order. But we should at some point, right?
It's a problem, Leon. You're just lazy.
I know. No, I don't. I constantly say that I spend so much time on this thing.
Yeah, if you spent all the time you spend talking about all the time you spend actually editing the thing, then we'd be finished by now.
Don't get me back to that dark place. Show of hands, because that works in podcasts. Who would be up for a Torchwood, Sarah Jane Adventures?
This is a
And there are other
dangerous
spin-off
experiment.
Who would anyone be interested in a Torchwood bonus episode? Just one episode.
I could do one episode.
Yeah?
I could do one.
Bingo.
I want to vote for the one when no one can fucking die. And you see that season? That season was amazing.
I hear that one's amazing.
That was the only one I saw. That shit was amazing.
I've never seen... Well, no,
There's
I've
also
seen bits
They
of a
drew
couple of
strangely
episodes.
quiet.
There's also the season where they turn kids into drugs. Do you remember that? When like the aliens show up and
You
they
start
like,
licking kids. That's a weird show.
like there are these. I think it's the one where Capaldi shows up as the Prime Minister. I think so. And anyway, so this alien force shows up on Earth, and they're like, "We are going to destroy the entire Earth unless you give us, I don't remember, like 10% of your kids, and they are going to be, I don't know, like juiced or something, like turned into a drug on this alien planet." That's the whole season. It's fucking bizarrely dark.
Yeah. Okay. So, Michael Ridgway.
Thomas, we're on our way with bonus episodes. Don't worry about it. Thank you for writing in. All right, next up.
With the subject melon bread.
Melon bread?
Melon bread?
I believe I did not reply to this email. I'm so sorry, Michael. Oh, spoilers. This one comes from Michael Ridgway.
Hey!
Oh, he has pictures of melon bread at the bottom.
Hi, Michael.
Oh, this is because we were talking about melon bread at
We were talking about
Oxcon.
melon bread. Yeah.
Right, okay. Go for it.
Hi, Who Back Wayne gang. Thoroughly enjoyed your Comic-Con special, which I listened to on the way to the holidays in Japan. I became addicted to the melon bread, which I eagerly sought out after someone mentioned it in the episode. Picture attached.
I saw very little Doctor Who merchandise on sale, though I understand in Japan it's got a growing underground following.
Ooh, that explains it.
Explains what, Leon?
They're all living in caves.
We have a metric nut ton of downloads in Japan for some reason. Konnichiwa, everyone in Japan who's tuning in.
Or Konbanwa.
Oh, look at you dropping
I don't really know what that
words.
means, do I? JLT or whatever.
JLS?
That's what he is.
Do you want to continue?
Yeah, someone did an awesome manga-inspired Who video on YouTube.
Ooh.
And there's a link, which I assume we will put on the website.
Yeah, let's
Content?
definitely
Yeah.
embed that. Thank
I
you very
kind of
much,
want to
Richard.
watch that right now.
He also has a suggestion. He says, surely a new Who episode in Edo era is Samurai Japan is in order.
That would be super awesome, but I do not trust the BBC at all.
No.
They're gonna. We're gonna like go from 200 Japanese listeners to 0 after they're deeply offended.
Well, we'd cover that episode fairly well, I feel. My gigantic fear is that there's a classic Who episode about it, which is going to be even less tactful.
The 70s were a very understanding time.
Well, for starters, all actors are going to be pasty white English people with incredibly offensive makeup, a la the Marco Polo episodes,
Yeah.
you know. Oh, God, that was
We're
horrible.
going to have to copy and paste Drew saying A plus ultra into it.
Of course.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much, Michael. By the way, some of us in the room are sipping on the delightful, zesty orange brandy that you sent us. Thank you again.
Thank you.
It's a nice slurp there, Drew.
My zesty slurp.
Sure, everyone enjoyed that at home.
Okay, next up is OBX Pirates, who says, greetings and salutations to the crew of Who Back When. I decided to watch all of Doctor Who, starting from the first episode. Shortly after my journey began, I discovered your podcast. Great! You and the crew are very entertaining, interesting, insightful, creative, funny, philosophical, and worth the downloads. Megs to my phone. So it took me a while to figure out what that meant.
Since I don't have friends like you to discuss Who is required? Since I don't have Oaks to discuss this with, I watched the episode as in the entire story arc and then listened to your summary. It's great fun.
Excellent. That's the whole plan.
That is literally the plan.
Mission accomplished,
Absolutely
Rob.
smashed that.
Rob continues.
However, you're a bit in my future. I just finished Evil of the Daleks, so hopefully in the future maybe I catch up and can drop some more mini reviews.
He has. In fact, we read a mini review of his we didn't read it yesterday, but we dropped an episode that featured one of his mini reviews yesterday.
And
Time
it was
Monster.
excellent. You keep them coming.
Awesome. Keep up the great work. It truly is appreciated, he says. Props to you and the crew. Robert from the USA.
Thanks, Robert. That's really nice.
Oh,
More warm inside.
Okay, next up.
Need more energy from this fucking part of the room.
I'm trying to give you something.
Some vodka.
Or something.
You cut it. I have no idea why.
You're a negative Nelly.
The next one comes from Arthur Fucksake.
Arthur Fuckshake! You're all getting this
To his
wrong.
friends. And I think maybe we need to put this into context, because at some point during one of the classic Who reviews, I think this was you and I, Nick, right?
It was. And you had exclaimed, and your one note was, fuck me a hovercraft.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Which I wanted on a t-shirt. Which made more sense at the time. It didn't really travel. So anyway, we put out the challenge to our listeners.
Like, write us some t-shirt slogans, or like anything that we can put on a t-shirt. Because, by the way, like, merch is coming. So there are going to be t-shirts and cups and whatever it is that you can possibly imagine popping our logo on. And here are some suggestions.
Well, actually, to be fair to him, he says, I couldn't think of any t-shirt slogans, as suggested in your previous podcast, but I thought it might be interesting to consider what might happen if they ever decided to make porn versions of Doctor Who.
And suddenly his imagination became extraordinarily fecund.
So, I reckon we alternate and we go as quick, because there's like 100.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
Right?
oh my
Which is
God, there's
speed
so
read.
many of these.
Speed
Yeah.
read?
All the way
Yeah.
around the
Arthur,
room.
you've
All
done
around
so
it.
many.
I'm going to start.
All right, let's do it.
Right. An unearthly child maker.
Ugh.
I don't understand that one. Do I want to?
Go, man. It's quick game's a good
Leon,
game.
you're next.
The Dalekers.
The badge of distraction.
Marco's pole.
The Sleeves of Mariners.
The Aztecs.
The Sexerites.
The cane of terror.
Planet of Clients?
What?
I don't even know.
The Dalek invasion of Girth.
That's a good one.
That is a great
That's
one.
the best one.
The Flesh Queue.
The Romanhoods.
The Wet Planet.
the cruel Sard.
Sade.
I'm thinking Marquis de Sade.
I think it's Sade.
The Spice Museum.
The Chaser.
Grime Peddler.
Oh god, the Galaxy Four.
Missionary to the Unknown.
The Stiff Makers.
The Daleks Blaster Clan.
Bonus points for inventiveness there. The Massager of St. Bartholomew's Eve.
The Fork.
The Sexual Toy Maker.
The Com Fighters.
Oh god.
I feel like you didn't really try that one up.
The Ravagers.
The Whore Machines.
The Smegalers.
Hang on, we need to go back one. The Whore Machines is decent.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's
Yeah,
solid. Go on.
Yeah.
Sorry, where were you?
The Smegalers.
The last one of paragraph 1. This is paragraph 1 of 3, by the way.
Oh god.
The Length Planet.
The Plower of the Daleks.
The Byhanders.
The Underwater Penis.
The Poon Base.
The Mucky
It
Terror.
was worth
The
it.
Facial Ones.
The Unveil of the Daleks.
The Tool of the Cybermen.
The Bummable Snowman.
The Vice Followers.
The Enema of the World.
The Ebb of
Classic.
Smear.
Flurry from the Deep.
The Feel in Space.
The Dominatrix.
The Hind Nobbler.
The Arse Invasion.
The Crowdongs.
The Feeds of Muff.
The Space Privates.
The Sex Games.
Spearhead from Space.
The Silurinators.
What is that one supposed
The
to be?
Silurians.
That's
Silurians.
Donald Trump's favourite video.
Oh, right, okay. The Ambassadors of Death.
Score. Interno. I think that's my favourite. Interno.
No, I like the next one. The next one's great.
Oh my god, look at the next one.
Derriere of the Autons.
The Grind of Evil.
The Fists of Axos.
Sodomy in Space.
The Siemens.
Night of the Daleks.
The Curbs of Peladon.
The Pea Devils.
And the Munters. Oh.
And that's just the first 2 or 3 doctors or so.
It turns out
Wow.
I don't know that much sex lingo. I thought I was pretty well versed.
Do you work in porn, Arthur?
I think Arthur was just pretty desperate to cram it in however it worked.
Hey-oh.
Awesome.
Thank you, Arthur, for the inventiveness
Yeah.
and dedication.
Thank you very much. Ooh, this is a long one.
Mm.
Can we stop? Are we doing phrasing? The next email is from Eric Pavliak.
Hello, Eric.
And he starts off with, "Hi guys," which is topical.
Strong.
Because, there have been certain quarters and there have been certain times where we've been, accused of being an all-guy podcast.
Yeah.
I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, everyone out there listening, we are the most diverse podcast.
We are so diverse. Can we just go through
Doctor Who podcast.
Can we just go through how many check boxes we tick?
Let's go. Each one of us. Let's go down.
What you got?
You get to go last, Drew.
I'm going to say, what are you bringing to the table,
Hey,
Drew?
I'm white Anglo-Saxon and Protestant.
So, did you want to start that one off, Drew?
Yeah, Eric begins, "Excellent podcast. My number 1.
Hey.
Nice
I
one.
bet you tell that to all the Mailbag episodes. Always looking forward to listening to whatever wacky conversations you cook up for each story. You have also made digression an art form.
Thank you.
Brilliant! Been listening for ages. First time I visited your very stylish website.
Oh, thank you.
You all look weirder than I thought you would.
1-2 punch. I love it.
Even with the wacky humour, you always sound professional. Except Marie. She
Wait.
is lovely and is also funny and professional.
I thought this is, except Marie doesn't sound professional.
No,
She's lovely, also funny and professional.
And professional. There we
you've got
go.
it all. We're all defective in various ways.
Where was Marie on the Mutants podcast? He wants to know. I missed her input and demand that she gets to overdub.
We've been trying to get her on, man.
Yeah. Do you ever want to do a classic?
And a
I'm
classic?
putting you on the spot here.
I could.
I think that's a no, sorry.
Oh no. Goes on. Never in my entire life have I spoken with a female who enjoys watching Doctor Who. There are plenty.
Yeah.
At all. Although, obviously, they exist in huge numbers. I've not been to a convention since the late 70s, and things have changed a bit since then.
Oh.
Nice. I'd like to know what a convention in the late 70s was like.
I think he goes on to describe it.
Oh.
Brilliant.
To contrast, I did attend some Blake 7 fan club meetings in the late 70s. I was the only guy. And the Star 1 mini convention at the Wembley Convention Centre that consisted almost entirely of women. Quite possibly the friend I dragged along was the only other guy. By the way, Paul Darrow and Jackie Pierce were hilarious. They had a very real rapport that seemed based in a deep friendship.
Holy smokeries and cheesecakes. I want to
Like
attend both
70
of those. I want us to have a time machine so that we can go back and attend both of those conventions. Blake 7. When are we doing a Blake 7 podcast, by the way?
You want more of this?
You want more to edit and produce. And
Your fingers are already bleeding.
Eric goes on. For your demographics, I was born in the UK in 1963. A few days before the first episode of Doctor Who.
he basically made it happen.
Thank you so much. I very much feel that I grew up with the series and can date some of my earliest memories based on the transmission dates of the scenes and stories I remember seeing. That is fantastic.
Isn't that really nice?
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Get on. Probably the earliest scene I remember is the one of the Dalek reveal in the Victorian time machine with the wood panelling and mirrors.
Ooh.
Inspired an early interest in steampunk that in the 60s/70s only ever saw in First Men in the Moon, Wild West, and the Jules Verne adaptations.
Yeah, awesome.
Eric continues. Also, I have strong memories of the wheel in space.
Classic.
The bit where a silver blanket gets thrown on the security robot and the bit with the Cyberman in the box. The sound design had a huge impact on me, and along with the radiophonic workshop in general, is probably why I have been involved with synthesizers and music production since the late 70s.
Holy smokes.
Nice.
Oh, dude, what do you do for a living? This sounds fantastic.
I remember scenes from Invasion. The sewer scenes and the cyber conversion gave me nightmares. Cool ones, though. And Web of Fear is the first story I remember from start to finish. I got Tom Baker to sign my Target copy back in the 70s. Still have it.
The 70s were the best fucking decade for you, weren't they? So he'd have been like 16 then. And everything is happening.
That's so cool.
Oh,
And then he
man.
gets to be Tom Baker and he signs his target. That's awesome.
That's amazing.
Oh. Okay. He goes on. I also remember the trial at the end of War Games, but not the rest of the story. However, from John Pertwee's first episode, I was completely on board. How I wanted him to get the fucking TARDIS working. And as crap as they can seem now, I have really fond memories of watching Colony in Space and The Mutants.
Us
yes!
too.
Oh my goodness!
We're the only
Oh,
it's
wow.
us two and Eric.
And you. That's it.
Yeah.
It's the three of us against the world, Eric.
That's all we need. So, Eric concludes, anyway, that's enough. I'm rambling on, and thanks for indulging me. So again, great podcast. I enjoy it enormously as evidence that this is the first time I've ever written into any podcast ever.
We are honoured.
Honoured.
So glad that you
Aw,
did.
thank
Thank you so much. Thank you very much for listening, and thank you very much for writing in.
And there's plenty of Marie on New Who.
Yes, there is.
Yep.
Can I just also say, for the record, he's included a PS in which he says, lay off Babylon 5. Just want to say that. I mean, Babylon 5 is a fantastic show.
Is it?
We have
Is it,
discussed
boys?
this.
Did you take the piss out of it as
is.
well? How are we doing this in parallel and not knowing?
Just rubbish Deep Space Nine.
No. How dare you?
I didn't think that'd get as much of a reaction.
All right. Yeah,
Thanks,
thank you
Eric.
again, Eric. Bing bong, Future Ponkin here with just one more email for this mailbag episode. I kind of want to single this one out specifically and read it out. I'm really sorry if maybe some of you out there in podcast land are now getting your hopes up and going, oh, you didn't read my email. Maybe this is it. This is one that came in shortly after we pressed stop on this recording, like literally moments after. But it does bring up a point that I really, really want to mention. This one comes from Kyle Rath. Hello, Kyle. How you doing? Kyle says, greetings, you kablamatronic bastards and the ever-so-sweet Marie. It's been just over 4.5 out of 5 years since I first started tuning in and getting turned on by the sultry tones of Who Back When. A lot has happened for me, and I assume for you all probably as well. Something audio Who reviews. Touche, Kyle. Touche. Kyle goes on, I've had this weird rash on my inner thigh shaped like Drew's profile. Wow, you gotta get that looked at. But I've also been fortunate to make some lasting friends. In brackets, shout out to Gina. And met some new ones. In brackets, Tracy from America. Along the way. Suffice to say, it has been and continues to be a great ride. The efforts of all the Who Back When gang is truly appreciated, especially the agency who keeps finding pumpkin places to live despite the court order. I am sure I have no idea what you're talking about, Kyle. Now, enough with the lovey-lovey. It's time to get some of that sweet, sweet freestyle polka music. I'm looking at you, Nick. Much love and donuts. Yours in time and space. The Sinister Super Spy. Thank you very much, Kyle. Thank you for sending that in. I'm so sorry that we didn't read that out collectively. Unfortunately, it came in approximately 15 minutes after we had wrapped this episode's recording, hence the future punk. I will say, though, after the recording, most of us went across the road to the neighborhood watering hole to high-five each other and toast to Podcast Land's awesomeness. And it was around about this time that your email dropped in. We obviously read it. And I was sitting next to Nick at the time, and I just want to say, when we got to the point of that sweet, sweet polka music, Nick... I'm not trying to misquote here, so I'm going to say I'm paraphrasing, but I'm pretty sure Nick said something along the lines of, I am sure I've never mentioned polka on the show. So, yeah, there you go. This little insight behind the scenes of Who Back When. Anyway, Kyle, thank you so much for sending that in. Absolutely lovely. And yes, there's a particular reason I wanted to sort of single out this email and read it out as a future punk as well. And that is that it's so incredibly true. Not only is it wonderful to see how friendships have formed across the ether in podcast land, but we, on this side of the microphone, so to speak, we've made friends with you guys. And it's just so incredibly lovely. I'm really looking forward to, at some point, meeting up in person and just high-fiving it out like crazy. Maybe there's a Comic-Con coming up at some point in the future that we could all meet up at. Anyway, people of Podcast Land who are not Kyle Rath, you can congratulate Kyle Rath on being such a spiffing gentleman. He is at Sinister Super Spy. That's super without any vowels. Okie dokie, back to the show. Bing bong. Okie dokie, we're going to move from the email inbox to iTunes, where we've received some wonderful, wonderful ratings and reviews. Thank you everyone who's rated us over the past 4 years. Just like in one fell swoop. Thanks, guys. Where are we starting? Are we starting this year? Should we just do this year? Let's just do this year.
I don't know. Translate the German one for us.
Oh, no.
Read the German one out in German.
We just did a little bit of it.
Okay.
Haben die was
geraucht? Says Taunida from Germany.
Translate that bit.
Haben die was geraucht?
Yeah.
So have they been smoking something?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That was what 9 out of the first 10 reviewers of Who Back When ever said. Is like, can Leon and Flapjack just stop toking constantly?
Yeah, that was actually, yeah, that was, didn't we have that kind of email in Mailbag 1?
Several.
Yeah. Well, at the very least, maybe Flaps and I read something like that on the show at some point. Like, someone was definitely going like, well, you guys are clearly stoned throughout. Not the case. Taunida, I'm really sorry.
His actual personality was just a filthy, filthy smoker.
Yes, I was. No longer. I've quit smoking. Can I just say, so one thing, I'm not going to translate the whole thing, but one thing he does say is that my infantile giggle can sometimes really get on your nerves.
Oh.
So I've been meaning to tell you that for a while.
Are you sure it's not lost in translation slightly? It actually means tingle your nerve endings.
I'm also thinking that maybe it's meant to be like my infantile jokes, that sense of humor that gets you.
This means nothing unless it's read out in the original German.
Yeah, say in German, damn it.
Who Back When ist ein Doctor Who Podcast der etwas anderen Art. Es ist schon lobenswert, wenn man das Gesamte... I can't read this whole thing in German.
Cannot.
Just bits of it. Just the bit where it says that your laugh is irritating.
Yeah, come on, Gastgeber, get on with it.
Ponkin ist der Gastgeber des Podcasts und hin und wieder geht einem sein etwas infantiles Gekicher gehörig auf den Zeiger. Genauso die Geschwindigkeit, mit der er und seine Mitstreiter sich die Sätze um die Ohren hauen, which is very true. I hope you all agree with me.
I do.
I actually completely agree with this.
Well, actually, I disagree vehemently, depending on the appropriateness of that.
I occasionally
and on the actual meaning of vehemence.
I occasionally think this myself when editing the podcast, that we speak maybe a little bit too quickly. That basically the podcast is... I'm deliberately slowing down while saying this, but like the podcast maybe it doesn't cater to someone whose first language isn't English, and
Right.
so this might be a problem. And maybe even in general, I think I'm probably the biggest culprit in this case. Like, especially when I've had a little bit of booze in me, I tend to speed up.
Even though English is your third language.
But booze is my first. So yeah. Anyway, well, overall, it's a really, really lovely review. So I'm not going to read the whole thing, but thank you very much. You gave us 4 stars, you guys.
Oh,
Yeah, 4 stars.
Very nice.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, should we move on to the next one?
Yeah, 100-watt walrus.
100-watt walrus.
So his title is Tons of Fun, if only the host paid more attention to the show. Sensing a theme. Been binging Who Back When since discovering it a couple of months ago. The hosts see Doctor Who the same way I do. Utterly fantastic in spite of its many flaws. As someone who is capable of fully enjoying the show despite almost always seeing a myriad of problems with every storyline, I appreciate their ability to poke fun without losing the love.
My only real beef with Who Back When is that the primary host, whilst able to recap each story in great detail, doesn't seem to actually pay that much attention to the storytelling.
Whoops.
In the majority of the podcasts, he misses or misinterprets at least one plot point or other detail and has to be corrected by a co-host. Sometimes they all miss major plot points.
Okay.
Such is life, eh?
Walrus concludes, but that's no less frustrating than most episodes of Doctor Who itself, and like Doctor Who itself, I very much enjoy Who Back When in spite of its flaws. And by very much, he means 4 stars.
80%.
Thank you very much, 100-watt walrus. He's probably completely like on the ball with this one. How often do we have to ask, like, wait, hang on, what happened? Especially in the classics, when it's like a 6-episode arc. I know I ask you on a number of occasions, like, could you remind me what happens in this scene, please? Like, I do not remember.
I'm sorry, did you say something? The next one's my fave.
All right,
I like
let's
the
hear
next
it.
one, yeah.
By David, Big Dave.
Hiya, Dave.
He just says,
Hello, Dave.
Oh my goodness, ...
Shamalama ding dong. 5 stars.
Boom. Now that's the fucking commitment we want.
That's a review.
Excellent. Thank you very much, David. All right, next up.
Okay. Next review from
It worked.
Cockers 007.
Oh, that is such an excellent handle.
His review entitled Stonkin' Ponkin' and Friends.
Woohoo.
Now that's the order you much more prefer.
A fun journey through every Doctor Who story, starting with an unearthly child, but also encompassing audio story reviews.
Ooh.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Part of the appeal is hearing the reaction of the team as they experience classic Doctor Who stories for the first time and listening to their opinions. Really very excellent.
Oh, that's the next one.
Oh, sorry. Well, he probably meant that.
Since he gave it 5
5
stars.
5 stars. Thank you very much, Cockers 007. Awesome. Hands up, who wants to pronounce the next handle?
Anyone know Klingon?
I have a feeling this is Robert Lukins.
Oh, do you know what it is? Do you know what? He's trying to disguise the fact that his surname, if spelt backwards, is Snickle. Leading to the name Robert Snickle.
Busted, Nick.
5 stars. Let's see. Is there going to be a lot of love for classic reviews in this one?
It's actually Snickle Treeball.
Well, our
this
look
what
cook. He says really very excellent. 5 stars.
Yeah.
I'm reading this out. You can't stop me.
I'm sorry, man.
Who Back When are grinding their way through every episode of Doctor Who, so you don't
Which is
have
exactly
to.
what we're doing when we're recording. it's just trance music and grinding.
The episodes: Classic Who, New Who, Audio Who. Ooh, this is going back a bit. Consist of blow by blow reviews of each story arc, interspersed with insightful commentary, speculative commentary, and occasionally completely exasperated commentary, meaning you can catch up on all those early stories in the comfort of your own earholes. This is top marketing spiel.
Yeah. Do you want to write some copy for us?
I think he is.
We could just nick this, yeah.
You could even watch the stories themselves, I suppose. But why would you when Ponkin and friends are happily to do the dirty work for you? Simultaneously, they're reviewing all the new Who's 2005 reboot onwards in order, as well as the audiobook adventures and a whole bunch of miscellaneous bonus reviews, Xmas episodes, Doctor retrospectives, news and announcements, drunken bloopers.
I like that. As a series of afterthoughts, you've got bloopers, news, and also some new ones. Yeah, whatever. Nick's not on them, I don't care.
I was a complete Who ignoramus before listening to this podcast, he says, and now I can proudly say that I am only a partial Who ignoramus. Nice.
Good, you're on this journey with us.
Yeah, exactly. Perhaps with a few more Who back whens under my belt, I can grow to be a Who buffoon. Also, the show is amusing. I should have mentioned that.
That's awesome. Thank you very much again.
Reluk. Yeah.
Reluk.
Thank you.
That is a lot of love.
Oh, that really is.
A lot of love.
Oh,
I'm feeling really good.
I feel really tingly.
Yeah.
It's a nice combination of zesty orange brandy, vodka on the rocks, and fans.
Oh. And good friends.
And good friends.
Good friends.
Well chosen friends.
Yeah.
But in order. But no, thank you all for listening. It's been
thank
great.
you so much. If you sent something to us and we didn't read it out now, really, really sorry. Feel free to send anything you like to whobackwhen@gmail.com. We'll try to feature it in a future mailbag episode.
Yeah, this is evidence that we very occasionally do try.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thought that counts, right? Yeah.
Of course.
Indubitably.
What does that mean?
Who knows?
Who knows?
It's unknowable.
If you don't want to email us, you can contact us on the what's it called, Drew?
The Tweety Blukes.
That's the one. It changes every single time, by the way. What are you on Twitter?
I'm Drew back when.
Excellent branding. Nick?
At Nukaluli.
Wait, say that
Nicoluli.
again. What was that?
This has changed.
Nicoluli?
I'm powering down now. At Nicolali.
Yeah, like ukulele, but with Nick.
No C.
Marie, you're not on Twitter?
Sadly not, no.
But you can still email us and we'll pass it along. And you can high-five me online. I'll high-five you right back. I'm at Ponkin. Thank you again so much for listening. Thank you for writing in. Be rad next to each other. Rock on. And ciao.
Bye-bye.
Toodles.
Kablamo! Did you enjoy the show? Then please do what the cosmos compels you to and spread the gospel of Who Back When. Tell your friends. Don't have any friends? No problemo. Tell some strangers. Like us on Facebook. That's facebook.com/Who Back When. All in one word. Are you on Google Plus? Then find us on Google Plus. That's plus Who Back When. And when you do, tell us why you're on Google Plus. Who Back When just got its very own Twitter account. No lie. So give us a follow. You guessed it. That's at Who Back When. All in one word. Check us out on SoundCloud, vote us up on Reddit, listen to us on Stitcher, and head on over to our website, whobackwhen.com, where you can leave a comment, submit a review of your own, and peruse our visual index of aliens, monsters, and more, which increases in kablamos with every episode. And lastly, give us a rating and review on iTunes. Not only would it make us super chuffed, and it really, really would, but as thanks, we will transmigrate your iTunes nom de plume into the credit list of trailers for fake Doctor Who audiobooks produced by Who Back When. Have a poke around our bonus episodes to make more sense of that. That's it. Rock on and be rad and excellent to each other. Catch your earballs in our next classic Who review, new Who review, or, still funny, audio Who review. Ciao.
Who Back When?